Have you ever helped someone with accommodation before? Particularly if you are living in a country like the UK, US, Canada, or Europe in general, where the cost of running a home is very expensive. In this video, where I related my own personal experience about how I was helped with accommodation when I desperately needed where to stay. Many who saw that video have shared their own experience. Some, the experience was good, but many, the experience was bad. One lady who saw that video reached out and she shared her painful experience about how she and her husband had accommodated one of their distant relatives who had come to the UK for his master's degree program and what happened afterwards. She said since they don't have anything to support him with or to assist him with accommodation for 3 months, so that during this period, he could focus on his studies, get a job, and settle into the country, just as every other right-thinking people are doing. She said that for the first 1 month, everything was going on fine. But by the second month, this guy began to display some weird attitude. At first, they noticed that he was no longer interested in looking for a job. All he was interested in is to eat, sleep, go to class, and come back very late at night. When they felt that was the worst, this guy began to dish out even more terrible behavior. To start with, anytime he uses the bathroom, he will mess up the bathroom with foams all over the wall of the bathroom. Something that would have just taken minimal effort to rinse down. He would leave the bathroom in a messy condition and he will walk away. He also has this irritating habit of walking around the house with only his underwear, which makes the family very uncomfortable each time he does this. She said that her husband has spoken to him about it on several occasions, but they will still find him sneaking to the kitchen with only his underwear. As if that is not enough, when he notices any week that they both have a tight work schedule, he will invite his friends to the house without their knowledge. When they get to know about it, they thought maybe he was feeling lonely because they understood how lonely and depressing it can feel in this part of the world. So they overlooked it. So he began to misuse that privilege so much that he would invite his friends to the house and he would dish out food for all of them, even give them takeaway, when he knew how much they were struggling to survive at that time. She said while they are still struggling to figure out what to do with him because they are tired of his bad behavior, she said they could not just throw him out just like that because his parent has been so good to them in time past. So they want to be very careful in the way they handle the matter so that it will not destroy their relationship and also cause problems between families. But what they don't know is that this guy still has more skeleton in his cupboard. When they felt that they have seen it all, he did the unimaginable. She said that one afternoon around 12 p.m., a delivery man knocked on the door and they delivered these boxes belonging to this young man. Obviously, he had been waiting for that delivery, but it looks like the delivery didn't come when he expected. So he stepped out to get something down the road. Out of curiosity, she opened the box and she was shocked at the content of the box. She said in that box was a 300-pound worth of sneaker and very, very expensive clothes that this young man had bought. She said she suspected it. So she remembered that 2 nights ago, her husband had casually complained about him not receiving an alert from his bank. So when her husband came back from work, she asked him to log into his bank app and they started reviewing all his transactions one by one. It turned out that her suspicion was right. Somehow, this guy had gained access to her husband's password, disabled her husband's SMS notification, and had done a transaction of over £2,000 with her husband's debit card. They noticed that on that particular day, he was supposed to go for a lecture, but he refused to go. But when he was asked, his excuse was that he's preparing for an interview, which is quite unusual of him. Obviously, he was waiting for that delivery man. So when they confronted him about it, he didn't show any sign of remorse. Instead, he became very aggressive and argumentative. And the next thing he did was that he went straight inside, packed his bag, and he walked out of them. The lady with tears in her eyes, she said, It was easy for this young man to pack his bag and walk out of them because he doesn't understand what being homeless means. She said for more than 6 months, this young man has been eating free food. For more than 6 months, he had been living in a free house. At that point, the lady said she and her husband felt so used and so worthless that they beat their chest never to help anyone again. So what are the lessons we can learn from this experience? Number 1, always check your bank statement on a regular basis and go through all the transactions one by one to be sure if it is a transaction that you initiated. So if you notice any unusual deduction, raise an alarm with your bank and do not rely heavily on your SMS alerts. That way, you can keep track of all your spending and spot suspicious transactions on your account early. And number 2, even though we are not discouraging anyone from helping, but the truth is that it is not everyone that is worth helping. But if you must help, make sure you ask about the person that you are helping. Know who you are helping very well, especially when it will require you to open your doors for them. But in doing this, if you notice any red flag, address it immediately. But if the help is beginning to drain your peace, it is no longer help. It is called self-destruction. You see, helping others is a very good thing, but applying wisdom in the process of helping others is better. Number 3, if someone had gone out of their way to help you, try to show gratitude and never burn bridges, because you never can tell when you will need to use that bridge again. Now think about it. Does it not dignify you to leave a place in a better condition than you met it? Even when you must walk away, leaving things better than you found them will build your reputation as someone that is trustworthy. And number 4, this speaks to how much many parents are so consumed with the pursuit of money that they abandon their children for strangers to care for them. And they forget that being there for their children is as important as being on their job, because it is their duty to instill good moral value in them. This young man is a classic example of a child who lacks home training. And as you know, a child who lacks home training will always bring shame to his parents wherever he goes. And I'm sure the parent of this young man would never be happy of his attitude. And number 5, parents, try to create time for your children. If you create time for them, it will allow you to get to know what areas your children needs attention so that you can channel your energy in the right direction. After all, they are your responsibility, so that you don't end up raising a child. Then after raising a child, you just realize that you need to start raising an adult child. And then the money you would have made by neglecting that child for strangers to care for them in the first place will never be enough to correct the damage that has been done. And now let me ask you, have you helped someone with accommodation in the past? What was your experience? Was your experience a good one? Or is it a bad one? Let us know in the comment section below. And I hope you find value in this video. And if you have watched this video up to this time, I want to say thank you for watching. And I will see you in the next one.